Welcome back to Music and Medicine. I'm so excited today. We've got Saeed Renaud with us. Your reputation precedes itself. So you know how we do. We're gonna have to go back a little bit and really talk about how you got inspired to sing, but clearly you've got the talent.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I started singing at the age of 6 in church. My mother's a really great singer. So like she would win, you know, the church contests at the age of 4, 5, 6. She was singing her behind off.
Wow.
So when I heard her sing and my aunt sing, I just kind of was like, oh, I like that. You know, and then I saw Whitney Houston, I think, and I lost my mind. I cried. I was like, I had chills. I didn't know what it was, but it was chills. And I was like, I want to do that. And she was like, okay. So we would sit down in the house and sing all the time.
So yeah, it's like automatic singing lessons at all times.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Anytime, in church, at home, in the car, it was just, that's what we did.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what's also incredible is that you started making a transition to also being a songwriter, and I know you have a gospel penchant, but tell us about some of your inspirations, because you've worked with a lot of artists.
I pretty much have worked with everybody who inspired me. A lot of them, like the Clark sisters,
right.
Lalah Hathaway. I love Donny Hathaway, like obsessed with her.
Sure.
Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan, Faith Evans, Kelly Price, India.Arie. Like there's a whole bunch of people. Joe,
Right.
Marvin Winans, John B. Key. Like
Sure.
I love.
Ears.
There's a whole bunch. My list is long. Aretha Franklin and Whitney, of course.
Yeah.
Automatic. Like I chased her down the block.
That's a blessing to say that you've worked with all those people.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with a lot of them or know them, like met them.
Yeah.
So for me, that's huge.
Okay, and then what you recently just shared with me, you're currently working on a project with Tamar Braxton.
Well,
possibly.
it's not necessarily, we're working on songs for her.
Yes.
I don't want her
That's
to be
a
like,
big
I ain't
deal.
never met him. No,
Yes.
I met her at my show.
Yes.
And she told me she was working on something. Then I reached out to the guy who's working at BMI, who's working with her. And I was like, yo, she needs some songs? And he said, yes. And I was like, okay, enough said, I got you.
Yeah,
So-
how much of the business is that way? It's about the fact of who you know.
I mean, a lot of my success happened like that because I don't have no manager. So I was meeting like songwriters or producers that I know. I was like, oh, we're working on a project. I need you to come. And I'd be like, all right, grab my writing partner. We go to the sessions and make it happen. You know, that's how I got my Grammy with, you know, that conversation. Like somebody I knew from Jersey, he was working on a project. He was like, I need you for Lalah Hathaway. I was like, yeah,
Sure.
I'm coming. So
good.
I showed up. I was screaming like a little girl inside, but you know what I mean? I kept it down till she left, and then I screamed.
Wow, so all that success for the most part, no management team, no publicist. You're working, it's strictly off of
Relationships.
Those relationships that you're working for yourself.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
I love it. I like it like
Yeah.
that.
Go ahead.
One of the biggest,
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah,
And we know
huge.
the movie's coming out. This is the Queen. Walk us through that in terms
Well,
of...
first, I opened up for her at the Nokia Theater
Wow.
in 2008. Okay, so when I met her backstage, well, first of all, I sung, and then I ran off the stage to stand in the audience. I stood the entire show. I didn't sit down. I was singing to the top of my lungs, and then I met her, and I was like, okay, she's everything. You know what I mean? Even though she was, you know, she's still Aretha Franklin, so she's like, no cameras. But I definitely got to meet her, and she picked me personally to open up for her. So that was huge for me personally, because I love her.
Wait.
Like obsessed.
Wait, she picked you personally?
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
There was a contest that the New York something was happening.
Yeah.
Having, and they were looking for singers. And this guy I knew just entered me into it. I didn't know that he did until like later. And then he was like, yo, you won. I was like, won what?
When I win, I didn't...
How did I win? Win what? You're opening it for Aretha Franklin. And I said, how? Like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? Don't play with me. And then he was like, yo, you're opening up for Aretha Franklin.
Right.
I said, get out of here. So I'm planning everything. I've got my singers coming over to my house. Everybody, like, I rehearsed for days.
Yeah.
Just for that one performance. And then we did like a whole, like, press day. So I was up at 5 o'clock on the news, singing like little clips or whatever, and then later that night we did the show. It was for the troops.
Right.
That's what it was for. So it was really big for me. I mean, I got to meet the people who inspired me.
Right.
Whitney, I chased her down the block.
Literally.
Because I bought my CD from somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think FYI or something like that. I bought my CD.
This was here in LA?
No, it was in New York.
Okay.
She was at the Virgin Megastore. It's
Okay.
right in the
That's
heart
right.
of Times Square, where it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she was there, and I bought my CD the day before somewhere else. So they was like, you can't come in there unless you buy another CD. I'm like, but I'm like, I ain't got it. I'm broke. So I told the boy in the front line, I was like, listen here, give her this letter. If you don't, I'm going to fight you. And his mother was like, relax. I'm going to make sure he gets her the letter.
Yeah.
So while everybody's going down the escalator to meet her, I'm in the building and I'm singing. Singing every song. Don't know how I know the lyrics. I only had it for a day. But I was singing every song and she just kept looking up. And I was like, it's me. Like screaming like, it's me. Then when it was all over, they took her away. And I was like, she's probably coming out on that side. And everybody's waiting for her on that side. So I'm going to go on this side. So I stood there, me and this guy, and the Escalades came out. And I was like, chase her.
And you literally chased her.
Literally. Like, good thing it was, Manhattan blocks.
Right,
So
kind of
even though there's a lot of traffic,
exactly.
you know what I mean? It's long blocks.
Right.
She kept stopping. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I'm too big for all that. You know what I mean? But I
You chased her singing?
I chased her, then I stopped, and I was like, read the letter. I wasn't going to sing until the guy started singing, and he sounded bad. And I was like, I can't leave her with that impression.
Yeah.
So I started singing. I was like, mind you, I'm singing it in her key. I don't know how I hit the notes. But after she jumped out the car, her security jumped out. You better sing, brother. I think Bobby Brown's sister was there, too.
Right.
And they were just screaming. I was like, Whitney told me I could sing.
What was the song?
Why does it hurt so bad? Why do I feel so sad? I thought I was all for you, but I keep crying when I don't love you. I did the live version because that's the version that everybody was playing on the radio.
Right.
So I sung that, and she was like, "You better sing." And after that, I think I met like 700 people who kept giving me cards. Like, we're from Sony. So it was Sony. Everybody was from
Literally,
Sony.
at that moment,
Now I found out that some cousins worked at Sony, and there's some people that actually did work at Sony.
Yeah.
But it was still like, it was mind blowing for me.
Was that your pinch me moment? Was that your moment where you knew, okay.
That was the moment I knew, okay, I know I can sing, but Whitney said I could sing, so then
You
I could sing.
validated it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care what nobody else thinks.
Sure. Right.
I mean, of course, my mama.
No, but
Right,
it
she
gave
was
you
important.
that extra oomph to
Yeah,
know,
like,
I'm okay, I got this.
I'm going to do this.
I can do this.
Yes,
Yeah.
it definitely did.
And
That's
you sort of
beautiful.
touched on it, but I want to highlight it a little bit more. So many people look up to these icons, and you've lived your life trying to literally follow them, chase them down, and things like that. Just sort of capture for us what being in their presence means to you, just in terms of your heart and, like she said, validating your sense of music.
For me, music is like, it's almost spiritual for me. So if I listen to somebody and I feel something, or you don't have to do a whole bunch in order for, somebody to feel you. You know what I'm saying? You can sing a little bit and it touch you. So meeting Whitney, it was just like, this is the person I've been literally listening to every day. Like literally, I was a weird kid. I did not do the cartoon, sports, all that good stuff. I ain't do none of that. I would be in the corner writing songs.
Wow.
Or acting like I'm having church or something. You know what I mean? Because, I'm a PN kid, like my aunt is a pastor, so I'm a nephew.
Aunt, I was gonna say.
The pastor nephew. You know what I mean? So I just church and singing. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, Whitney, oh, Aretha. My mother, we would sing Aretha all the time. We thought we was BB and CC at one time. I mean, even though she was singing BB notes and I was singing CC because my voice was so high at them times.
Right.
But meeting them just changed my whole perspective. Like, I was like, wow, I can do this. It made me want to be an artist, if I say that.
Okay, that's quite interesting for me to hear, that here you are as a child writing songs.
Yeah, I was weird.
But that, that's not
No,
weird. That's a
it's-
beautiful gift.
Right, sounds
Okay, let's watch what we speak.
Yes.
Because that is beautiful.
I mean, for people, they'd be like, why are you sitting there? Why you not outside playing with us? My friends would be like, I'm like, I'm good.
Right.
I'm,
But you're
doing-
I'm
Peer
writing.
group.
So how old were you when you wrote your first song?
I think it was 8.
Wow.
It's called I Love You. I forget a little bit. I know a little bit.
It's not I love you, I love you.
No,
don't know.
not
Okay.
that song.
Okay, good. Just checking.
That was like, I love you. I really do. And that's all I remember.
Right.
I think I said that over and over. I really do. It was real churchish, melody-wise.
Did your mother then guide you with the songwriting process
Now,
at 8 years old?
the songwriter, she was like, I don't know what you're doing, but go ahead and do what you're doing.
Keep it up.
You know?
Oh, so your mom does not
She don't write, but she can sing a piano.
That's your gift.
Yeah.
That is your special gift.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is fun.
Yeah.
So I started writing poems. I just kept writing things just to see if I'm good at it. And then, you know, next thing you know, I'm writing for, I think my first Grammy nomination was Trinity 5-7.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I would write for people in the hood, like all my
They weren't
friends,
quite
like, yo,
as
I need
well
a song. Or somebody in church who's becoming an artist, they're like, I need you to come to the studio
Right.
and do some backgrounds and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Or help us write a song. I would do those things.
So then when you were a child and you would think about what you wanted to be, what was that vision like for you?
I didn't want to be huge. I wanted to be known for my gift, but I didn't. I still wanted a life.
Right.
So like I see Lalah, like she goes on tour. She's still cool. Everybody around her is down to earth. And
Yeah.
There's no weird LA,
Yeah.
you know, funny acting stuff. Like that energy is what I want. Go on tour. Put out songs, people love it. You could tour, you could you go to the mall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, people know who she is, but
Right.
they're not because of the chill vibe that she has. There's no
Right.
Yeah.
She stays
It's like,
grounded.
hey, how you doing? Can I get a picture? It was one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At first, when I got off the, you know, we'll talk about that later. But you know, when I was on the show, that freaked me out. People coming to me.
Right. Having that level of popularity.
Yeah, that was the first time I had any type of anxiety.
It's when
I've
you were on
never
the floor.
experienced it. After it.
After.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's when I'll be outside and
Knew who
people
you
be
were.
staring at me. And I'm like, I'm from Brooklyn. You got
Exactly right. I'm
be
from
careful.
Brooklyn too.
Because you looking at me from the side,
Right.
I'm assuming
Exactly.
that you want something.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
Right.
But then they'll be like, can I get a hug? And I'll be like, okay. I'll give them a hug because, you know,
A lot of love.
I'm a teddy bear.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's still an amazing gift to be able to, some people say, hear the music and then write it, or literally it comes to you. Where would you say you fall in being able to come up with songs? Because that's not something easy to do.
It depends. Sometimes I can have a melody, it'll be bothering me for days, and I'm like, okay, fine, let me just write it. You know
I
what I
have
mean?
to do
Or
this.
I'll be in the studio and somebody will play something, I'll be like, ooh, that's nice. And I just start humming stuff. It don't even be English, but I just start humming stuff, and then next thing you know, I'm writing, and I'm like, okay, this sounds like I'm saying. And I'll just write it out. Next thing you know, I have a whole song.
Wow. So while you were on the fort, what you just mentioned, well, once you, the fame of it, the people knowing who you are, the visibility of it, the pressure of it was a lot for you.
I don't know if it's so much that I was freaked out by the pressure. It's just the fact of, okay, now people know who you are, so you can't do it. You know, get on the train in New York City. Everybody in New York is watching.
It's like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a little freakish. Every time I get on the plane, I'm like, oh, Lord. I would have like little anxiety attacks. And then it slowly went away. But at first, it was a lot.
Did you have are you being sarcastic, or did
No,
you really have, you've had anxiety
I was
attacks?
really like,
Okay.
calm down, relax. This is the part of the game.
Right,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what happens.
And ain't nothing you ain't do before.
Yeah.
I think because now people see me, it made it put more pressure.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. As a songwriter and things like that, you could be a little bit more behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
as a songwriter, I'm in the back.
Right.
And I'm comfortable there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, you deserve to be on that stage just like everybody
Right,
else.
right. Oh, and more
Because
so.
for a long time, I thought, you know, big dude, man, they're not looking for me. They looking for Usher or Chris Brown or Skinny Dude, you know, dance, you know what I mean? Now, don't get it messed up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fine.
I can dance with
Sure.
my behind off.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll never these chairs and give you some.
You know what I'm saying?
Got
But
it.
like, for me, I was like, they're not looking for me.
Right.
I'll stay in my songwriting bag and do that. And that's what I did.
Let's talk about how that experience occurred, because I mean, it's huge, literally, to be on a stage like that, and a tremendous amount of pressure, even though, like you said, you'd gotten a lot of experience by that point.
Right.
But what was it like? How did you wind up being able to get on that show, and what was it like to compete?
Well, there was this guy who was just kept sending me, like, yo, there's a show, they need artists. Would you love to, we would love to have you as, you know, artist or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. And he just kept sending me DMs on Instagram. He'll do it frequently, and then he'll stop.
Right.
And then another month will pass, and then he'll come back. Like, yo, they're still looking for artists. Then I told my right partner, I was like, yo, somebody keep asking me about something called the Four. Right. He was like, Google what the Four is. And I was like, oh, you're right. So
Maybe I should take a look.
I was like, oh, it got Diddy and and all these people. He was like, do it.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, they ain't looking for me. So he was like, no, do it. He kept forcing it. I was like, all right, fine, I'm going to do it. So I told the guy, I sent the videos in, and 2 days later, I got the call. The guy, like, he introduced me to somebody else, and then the lady was like, okay, we're working on the show, but I'm in Virginia. So just, if you see my area code, just look out. Right. So I was like, okay. 2 days, the day after Thanksgiving, they asked me to come to the show on Monday to audition for the producers. Wow. And that's what I did. So once I got there, I was still in the mindset of, they're not looking for me, but I'm going to do it just to shut everybody up.
Right. Get them off my back. Yeah. Stop getting these DMs.
I did it. I got there. They did like a whole mental assessment thing. I'm reading, you know, they asked them the same.
The mental assessment component as part of the
audition.
The audition component to get on the Four?
Yeah. They asked you like, same question 3 different times, 4 different ways. Like, they kept asking you, like, just to make sure if you don't lose, you're not going to lose your mind and, you know, blow the place up. You know what I mean? So we did the whole thing. I was like, okay, I guess I did good. Now they want me to beat the producers. So I got in there, and they're sitting there, like, looking at me like, make me happy.
Right. Yeah. No cameras rolling. Or
you know, no cameras,
no, right.
Nothing. Private. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start with the person in the middle. So I started singing. Once I said, I know, she was like, and I was like, okay, got her. And I just kept going until by the time I finished, everybody was like clapping and stuff. And I was like,
Talk to us about where that comes from, because you grew up in the church and in Brooklyn on top of that. Yeah. So you know that element about moving an audience. Listen. Tell us about how music and how you manipulate it to do that, because you know how to strike a certain nerve.
Church kind of help you with that.
Of course.
Because it's all about your tone. If your tone is right, you can make somebody cry in 5.3 seconds. And that was the weird thing, because while I would rehearse at the show, the guys who sat in the crew stuff and everything, they would be in tears. And at first, I was freaking me out. Then my right partner was like, idiot, you know this is what you do? Like, you know when you sing from your heart, people are going to feel you. Like, just let it happen. I was like, okay, you're right. But, you know, for me, I'm just always in the back, you know, do what I do. Or I do my own little thing when I'm on, you know, host my open mics and stuff like that. So I was never really on the stage until the Four. And ever since then, you can't get me off.
You move from the back component to now the front, and now you're on stage. You're on stage
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And what happens?
I was knocked out backstage, and it was like, "You're up next." I was the last person to sing, so I get up. I'm like, "Okay," you know, my voice is all deep because you know I was sleeping. Then I did an interview. Then whoosh, they pushed me right on the stage. And they was like, okay, do the intro again. So I went back and woke back on the stage, and Diddy and it was just in there like, okay.
Impressed me.
They asked me questions, and it was like, sing. So I started singing. I was like, don't do nothing falsetto. It ain't going to come out. So I sang the song, and everybody, I just paid attention to everybody, and everybody was just like, they started screaming and stuff. I was like, oh, they like me.
And everybody's Meghan Trainor, DJ Khaled.
Exactly. I said, oh, maybe I could do this. You know what I mean? They liked me. And then it was like, okay, now who you going to go against? I picked somebody, and I sung again. And I won. I got the seat.
Yeah.
And, you know, everything else is history, I guess.
Yes.
There's one element I want to tease out, because we see this a lot, and hopefully you feel comfortable talking about this. Many times when somebody's big, they really want to hide because society beats them up so badly. Do you sense, because it seems to come across as a theme, that some of, I need to hide in background, I'm just a songwriter, I can sing, but I'm not going to blow because I don't want to show?
Like for me, growing up, I would be like real timid about like, okay, I'm ready to fight you if you look like you was about to say
anything
fat. Like I'll be like, what? I'll whoop you behind. But then I was like, okay, you can't fight everybody, and eventually somebody gonna whoop you behind. Right. So you have to figure out what's that thing that's bothering you. And I was like, okay. I realized nobody in the street bothered me. It was more family stuff, you know. Black family.
Of course,
like,
we show love in different ways.
You know, we Jones on each other. You know what I'm saying? So my cousins be jonesing on me, right. Or brother, or whatever. We go back and forth. Right. Eventually, I realized, okay, there's nothing wrong with you, and you're not ugly. Right. So you know that confidence that you feel like you shouldn't show it. So I started being confident. Like, okay, all right, I don't mind. Like, yeah, I'm fat. That's great, but do you look good? Because I look good, I get it from my mama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Are you talented? Because I'm talented. Yeah. Exactly. I work hard for this. You know what I'm saying? So I had to build the confidence up in myself. Nobody helped me. I mean, my mother would talk to me. You know what I'm saying? She would help me, but for the most part, I would sit down and have conversations with myself. Like, okay, what are you not liking? What don't you like about yourself? Well, if you don't like it, fix it, or be happy with what you got. So I became happy with what I got. And then the industry came. And once that aspect came, it was like, oh, Lord, back to this.
Yeah, what's the pressures of the entertainment industry like for
I think back then, at earlier years, it was more like, okay, sing gospel. I was like, I do that on Sundays. I don't think I'm a gospel artist. I think I'm here to touch everybody. Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm not working with you. Next person. And I would just meet people, and then eventually people was like, you know what, you don't have to do gospel. I was like, because everybody wanted me to be Fred Hammond. I'm like, there's already a Fred Hammond. I get mad at people who try and sing like Fred Hammond. Like, chill, there's only one. You know what I mean? I need to be me. You know what I'm saying? So I just started working on myself, like doing songs for myself, and work with producers who worked with me. And that's just what I did. Worked on my own music. And then I went into the industry, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna just stick to songwriting because y'all not ready for me. Yeah. And then I guess the timing was right. The fork came, and I'm here.
On this last note, what words of wisdom would you give to young people who, for whatever reason, may not feel as confident, and yet they know they have a gift and that they're talented and blessed with it, but various things, whatever it may be, really kind of shake their core? How do you sort of recommend or inspire them? What would you say?
It's the same thing I tell my students. Like, if God gave you a gift, there's no way you should be scared to get on the stage. Like, you stand on the stage and you sing. You can't be scared or like, oh, what if I mess up? Because somebody in the audience needs you. Yeah. They need to hear something. People have horrible days and horrible weeks. And when they go to concerts, they're coming there to be touched. Like, give them something. You know what I mean? You can't be scared of that. If that's your assignment. If that's not your assignment, then you need to go sit down and sing in church like I was.
And it's letting go of the fear.
Because the fear will block everything.
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid. Of course, there's a million singers in the world who can sing better than me or do things better than me, but they're not me. And that's what separates you from other people. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be comfortable in what you got.
I think what's also interesting about your story, though, I mean, to give yourself some credit here, in the sense that, you know, you were writing, and so then you shifted gears, and it takes a second to shift and then be comfortable in that shift. Right. I don't think you should necessarily be expected to shift and then just fly. Right. You know, so there's a process that takes place in there. Definitely. What was that process like for you?
I mean, it's the same thing with being comfortable. Like, I had to, like, you writing words down. Yeah. Yeah, they look a little crazy. But I think if you put a melody to it, it might work. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. That's so the good thing was that I could sing. Yeah. Because being a songwriter and not being able to sing that's probably more harder. Yeah. But for me, I could sing my songs. So I can sing how I want it to be, you know, sung. And I would just do that, and I was like, okay. And then after I'm like, okay, that sounds a little corny, I started challenging myself. And I would listen to Stevie Wonder, and I would listen to all the other writers that are like Babyface, and I'm like, okay, what is their signature? They're doing something, and you can hear a Babyface song and know that it's Babyface. You can hear a Stevie Wonder song and know that it's Stevie Wonder. You know what I mean? So I started finding that what separated me from everybody else. And once I got comfortable with that, I was just in 5-10 minutes I could write a song, depending on you know the vibe.
It made you stronger.
It did.
It perfected your craft.
Definitely.
I think what's another interesting component with you is that, you know, you were on the show for 2 episodes, but it's an important part of why I'm mentioning this, because you leave the show and the fans had they flipped out. They lost it because your fan base is strong.
And that was the point when I realized, like, they like me.
We're here.
Okay. This is cool. So, I mean, I don't have to be like Usher. I don't have to be like this one or that one. I could be me, and it's okay. So the fans lost their mind. They were sending threats, all types of stuff on Instagram, in the comment section. They were not having it.
They sent the death threats was so strong to the team there that they brought you back.
They had to.
And so talk about that. You had a comeback episode because of the death threats.
Realizing it's the first season, we don't know. We were the guinea pigs. They didn't know what they were.
Right, they were trying.
So, and I know when I was leaving, somebody was saying, there better be, I think it might have been one of my friends, there better be a comeback episode. And Diddy turned and looked at her and just kept going. And then the next day when I woke up, my phone blew up. Like, I literally had to get a new phone because all the comments and all the notifications from Instagram was crazy, and Facebook. And I was like, oh, my sister like, yo, everybody's losing their mind. Go look at the comment section on Diddy's page, or go look at the comment section on the forum. Like, people were losing their minds. And I was getting videos from people showing me their children, like, crying. And some grown women crying. I was like, wow. Now that's freaking me out, but you know what I mean. But I understood. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way I felt about Whitney, the same way I felt about Michael. I would cry if I loved somebody. So they loved me, and I was like, wow, this is cool. So we did the comeback episode, and you know that was a womp womp. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I didn't want to win. I wanted to gain the exposure and the fan base. So for me, that was all I needed.
Well, you got that, and you know what else you got? I mean, you learned an extra layer of confidence about yourself because you entered this unsure, as you sat here and said, and you exited out with such a strong fan base that they brought you back for that reason. So what does that say to you?
I'm here. It gave you that validation, you know. So I was like, I'm here. They like me. They like you. Chubby dude, you know.
And would you say, just kind of push the envelope just a little bit further, that you even like yourself that much more, and really can love yourself, which seems to be a big challenge for many artists, regardless of their talent, blemishes, whatever we want to throw at them.
I don't know if it helped me love myself because I think you have to know that before you get in this industry. Because if you don't, they will tell you who you are.
And tear you apart.
And tear you apart. You know what I'm saying? So I knew who I was. I loved myself. But it made me appreciate my gift more.
I like that.
Because I think because I can sing, I probably was taking it for granted. Because I was just saying, oh, I can sing in the bathroom. You know, I can sing anywhere, on the toilet, you know? But now it's like, preserve this, fix this, make sure this is good, because you got a show tomorrow. Like, you know, that's my mindset now.
What's next? What's next for you?
I'm setting up a tour right now. That's coming. Doing a couple like spot dates in LA, you know, staying busy. Vocal coaching, writing, you know, the Tamar thing. I'm putting together my own little, you know, writing camp for her. Just to make sure that when I give them is, you know, great quality. Phenomenal. You know what I mean? So that's it, you know what I mean? And hopefully doing some more TV stuff. I don't know about the competitions. I don't know about that. But I'm definitely going to do some more TV stuff.
Love it. Okay, you've got to tell us about your team, putting it together, writing, and then also winning Grammy. That's not something that everybody could pull off at such a young age.
True. Well, the name of my team is The Authors.
Okay.
It's me and my writing partner is, and every now and again we add a friend who can write. If we need somebody. But the Grammy, like we were in the studio. I think I got there first, and then he came, and then we started writing with some other songwriters for Lalah, and we just came up. It was the collaboration for me, because a lot of songwriters or singers can't collaborate. Right. For me, it was fun, because I'm like, okay, bouncing ideas off of each other, and that's kind of how it happened. Then the album came out and got Grammy.
Do you think it requires people to kind of sublimate their ego or feeling like I'm the one that's doing the lead or the melody or the solo?
I think people feel like they need to be, like, they have to shine.
Right.
But if you really pay attention, if everybody came together and shined together, we all go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think it's the crab in the barrel, crab in the barrel, mindset that we have. Right. But I don't have that.
Tell us about your spirit of collaboration and why you can get along with artists so well and really make something great.
I think when you're working with other people, you're taking your greatness and adding to what they are great at. You know what I'm saying? And you should be okay with that. You should never be insecure about your gift. Only someone who is not sure of themselves or what they bring to the table will be disturbed by working, intimidated, there we go, intimidated by working with somebody else. I don't have that. I don't have that thing. I love working with people. It's actually fun. You know what I'm saying? Because you can throw ideas off. You never know what greatness come out of that. Why would you, deprive yourself of that? Because you want to be the one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to put that to the test because we've got a collaboration and you're part of it. And it's a key part of the show where we really like to pair artists together, some who have a tremendous experience and some of those that are coming up in the game. Yeah. So we're going to look forward, or at least press you into a spirit of collaboration here today.
I'm down.
And sorry, you were going to go.
No, I was just going to ask who did you want to collaborate with? But you know what? We're going to give you opportunity.
There's a lot of singers who are out now that I want to. Jasmine Sullivan, Brandy, Faith Evans, Joe, India.Arie, Lalah Hathaway, and Mario. Off the top of the dome.
Right. Just a short list.
Off the top of the dome. Right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Awesome.
But I love up and coming artists too, though.
Okay.
So there's a lot that's coming up. I'm like, okay, I would love to do a song with him.
Sure.
Like Kenny Gasso, he dope. There's a lot of people.
Sure.
Nell Rose.
Let me tease that out. I know we've got like 3 seconds, but what's the spirit, what's the sense that you get when you pick that list? Why those artists? What is it that you sense that you feel this really matches who I am?
They're secure in their gift. You can tell that they're secure and they're happy. They do, like if you listen to people's music, you can feel who they are. India.Arie, you can feel who she is.
Absolutely.
Lalah, you feel who she is when she get on that stage. A monster, you know? And Brandy, same thing. Like, you can tell she's comfortable in her skin now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I love.
Yeah.
You know, Jasmine Sullivan, same thing. Like, and put aside that they can sing their behinds off.
Yeah.
You know what
you
I
can
mean?
see, you can feel the lyrics.
Exactly.
Literally.
So that's why it's important to want to collab with those great people.
Yes.
Great. Well, on that note, we are looking forward to a collaboration with Saeed Renaud. He's been here with us today and really touched on something really amazingly important, that you don't always have to be afraid of your gift. You can let it shine, and you don't always have to stay behind the scenes. When you are confident in yourself and certainly love yourself, other people can certainly be attracted to it. We saw it with The Four. We saw tons of people pour out not only love, and we can't condone hatred, so we'll put a little disclaimer at the bottom that we're not trying to say to send anybody a death threat. But there still, in their own way, was this love that was pouring out to really say that, hey, there was definitely a mistake, and we need to make sure that people that can sing really have a place in the music industry today. And so we support that, we laud it, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You were amazing.
Thank you.
Good. We love your energy.
Yes.
Thanks.